Right, folks, so what you see in the background, etc. I may chop and change backwards and forwards on my desk because I'm filming like 3 videos at once at the moment. Purely because the video I was going to film, I needed my drill, and my drill's run out, battery, so it's charging, so I thought I'd start making my other videos as well. And yeah, it's confusing, but it'll work out fine. So this video, as the title says, is about this car, which has no name. I'm sure it has a name, but I'm not looking for it. This is like it's branded as a Hot Wheels from 1995. It's a McDonald's giveaway toy, like a Happy Meal toy, but it has this cool aesthetic. So because it has such a cool looking aesthetic, I don't know, it's just cool looking. I've drilled it apart. It had proprietary screws in there, like triangle headed ones. I've got them out. I've been in the process of getting the glass out. I've pushed the screw through the roof, so I've had to do a little bit of a fix, but it's okay because there's going to be something going on the top there, so we don't need the glass for now. Just the shape and stuff of it's really, really good. I'm going to do a couple of mods to this though. I'm going to use these Games Workshop Space Marine backpacks for Primaris, whatever, Space Marines. These are from the easy to build ones. I've got tons of these. We're going to make this into a hover car. Now, I had thought about mounting these in here and then flipping these jets around. I haven't decided I'm going to do that yet or not. If I don't do it, which would look really cool, I think. If I don't do it that way, also when I flip the jets around, I'll probably square this off to give me more room in the arches. If I do it that way, I'm probably just going to cut these little like jets. I know they're meant to be, this is meant to be a power pack, so these are probably meant to be vents, but they look perfect for jets. I like to make this hover. And at the back where the arch is a bit bigger as well. I want it to look like it can do what I need it to do. So what I might have to do is where obviously this tapers out, I'll cut these off nice and neat, and then I'll make this square. That gives me it'll look like it pivots around this point here. Does that make sense? Because obviously that's great if it's hovering there, it needs to move forward and backwards. Unless I had a jet on the back as well, I'm not sure. So I've got 4 of these, obviously one for each wheel arch. Other things I've got for this, these Dice Mechanic Games little machine guns, which are cool because they're not like a standard round machine gun. They've got a similar sort of cool aesthetic to them. They're not in focus. No, they're in focus. Yeah, so they've got a weird shape to them, and they're quite dainty as well, which I quite like. So what I'm going to probably do is drill and file these little headlight points out and mount them in there. That'd be quite cool. So things we're going to do on this build, different to obviously some other builds. This is going to be a painted vehicle. So it's going to have very little weathering on it. It's going to be more of a painted style one. I'm going to stick it on a base as well, and I'm going to use wire rod to hold it up. So I did the DeLorean a little while ago, now sent to a friend of mine in America. I had it on a base and I used cotton wool to look like it was hovering. So that's what we're going to probably do on this as well. And we use one of these Warlord games, like pill shaped bases. I think they're called pill bases. But anyway, we use one of these Warlord games. It's just slightly smaller than the vehicle, but we get the height and the angle right. And because it's plastic with a metal base, the weight will stay low down. So I'm not going to have it super high. I'm probably going to have it inch or so off, raked nose down, so it looks like it's tracking across some ground. Now with the DeLorean, I made it look like it had been refueling, so I put an oil drum and a hose and stuff. Won't be doing that. We'll just be doing smoke over the base and obviously some sand and stuff on the base. So we'll talk about bases there. Like I say, paint job of this, I like the black, so it may go a gloss black. I've got some pearlescent gloss black, which I think would be pretty cool. I'm going to keep the glass, because the glass is tinted, and I like it. The shape of the screen, it's very Batmobile-like. It may even be a Batmobile. And then we're going to do, I did on the Breach Custom on Red Rocket, I did this hose. I deliberately made it look haggardy by using florist wire, which has got like a cloth covering on it. I was thinking about doing this again, but I don't want this to look haggardy, so I want this to look like it's brand new or pristine. So what I'm going to probably use instead is copper wire. I'm going to braid. I'm going to wind some copper wire, and then I'm going to work out where I want to put the engine, which will probably be at the front. Then I'll have two points on either side, one with a short hose going to the front, and one with a long hose coming down the same line as a short hose, and it's going to split across this swage line here and run into the back. I think that aesthetically will look really, really good. Sorry, my daughter's screeching in the background, but hey, that's what happens. See, I was thinking about this with the jets. I may put a jet on the back, something on the back here as well. That area is quite flat, and I could probably get away with flying it a little flatter. So there's a jet here at the back, pointing outwards. Yeah, so that's going to be the build on this. I'm quite looking forward to it. I think the shape of the vehicle is really, really good. It's another one of those. Sorry. It's another one of those Hot Wheels that I don't see a lot of. I know a couple of people have done vehicles out of it. It looks good as a road vehicle as well. I'll keep an eye out for another one. It fits in the same vein as the Streamliner. So like, Streamliner is another one of those vehicles. I've got a few of these now. I'll do a video about Streamliners, or about, I'm gonna do a video about 10 cars that you should pick up if your aesthetic is similar to mine. Streamliner could look good as a hover car as well, so I may do a Streamliner hover car as well. It's just that big engine, and what you can do with that big engine there is run hoses out to the jets. The thing about the Streamliner is obviously with this built-in skirt, it looks like it's moving when it's not. So jets could be cool here, and then some thrusters on the back. It's just a good shape, and this is again another one of those sort of good shapes. There's a few cars that Hot Wheels do and Matchbox do that are exceptional shapes for that sort of stuff, and I like them a lot. So that's what we're going to be doing with those. Like I said, the video may, on the look of the table, may chop and change backwards and forwards because I'm doing like 3 videos at once. But yeah, so that's this part of the video. Next bit would be time lapse of me working out these thrusters. So I've got a few spares, so I'm going to shift the load out of the way. I'm just going to work on one, which I'll film. I'll time lapse it. It may be a bit boring, but then at least you see what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to work out. Clean up the mould line, where I've cut it off the sprue, however long that was, because it's been in my bits box for ages. Work out the angles, work out what I'm going to do, how it fits, and then we'll come back once I've got one done, and then I'll do the others real quick off camera, and then we'll have all 4 done. All right, cool. All right then, so you see I squared these off, thinking about doing, because they're not going to sit any higher up in the arches. They've come up a little bit, and obviously I want them to look like they pivot or move. I like the aesthetic. I keep on saying the aesthetic. The aesthetic's like my favourite blooming word at the moment. I like the look of them. And now I've changed them slightly, they look really good as well. So I'm thinking that the way that sits, like, if I had it all tucked up inside, that'd be cool. But that's not how wheels on a car work anyway. And these are replacing wheels on a car, and there's nothing to say that a landing gear doesn't come out from underneath to hold this up. So rather than try and tuck this right up, I think I'm going to mount them like this. So stick that. Cool thing about these is as well, these like packs, I've mounted one at a slightly different angle to the other. I'm going to mimic that as close as I can on the other side, just to add to the look. So like it's traveling, but it's also trying to maintain control or a heading. Because if I have all the like thruster things facing the same way, it just looks a bit dull. And you know me, I like to have things look a bit different and strange. So yeah, so I think I'm gonna make another couple. So I'll make the other 3 now. I won't video that because it'd be exactly the same. It's a bit dull. And then once they're all made, then we'll move on to the other bits. So obviously, before I start gluing these on, I'm gonna work out the guns. And I can glue them on. I'm gonna pre-glue them to the base in this area here, because I want to be able to remove the top half to get the windscreen in and out for painting, etc. And then what that means is that I'll have two separate assemblies. So I'll have the thrusters glued to the base, I have the glass separate, and then obviously I can work on the hoses and stuff on the upper half without worrying about damaging this. That's the plan I've got, and whether I stick to that or not, everyone knows is a different thing. So I'll crack on with these. I'll speak to you again in seconds on here, but for me, any time from a few minutes to a day to a couple of hours, depending on what's going on. All right, cool. All right, folks. So this bit in the video, this is future me from about a week later from the last part of the video you saw. And the reason this is in the middle is because future me hates past me now, because while editing this video together, the app I use to edit stuff managed to crash and lose loads of footage, including the bits where I cut the jetpacks up, which I'm not putting in, just because it really is just cutting up some Space Marine Games Workshop jetpacks. But the most important bit that it lost is where I show you how to curl this wire in an easy way using a drill. So I've got two different thicknesses of wire. I spoke about this a little bit before. I've got a thicker copper, I think it's a ground, well, it came like this out, I salvaged it out of an exterior industrial security light, so I think that's a ground wire. And I've got this thin hobby wire I bought off eBay ages ago. It was massive, it was a massive roll, I've hardly got any left. So what you need to do is make a little loop around one end, real close to the end. Get your I've got a battery operated drill, but it doesn't, I think a battery operated drill makes it a little bit easier because it's not so torquey. Clamp where the two wires join in the drill and lock it so it holds it nice and tight. Now on this drill, because of the way I've done it, it needs to be in reverse. But what you're going to do, just depends on your drill. And be careful with this, because if you ever drill at too high a speed and you goose the throttle, you'll end up tearing your fingers off. So I don't hold myself responsible for your douchebagginess. Okay, so you hold the wire, low speed. Now it will try and jump over itself occasionally. So you keep the speed right down. I'm holding this fairly tight. Your hands will stink like 2p pieces or whatever copper-based coin you have in the country of your origin. Don't hold it so tight or wrap it around your hand, because you'll really hurt yourself. You can also cut yourself with this wire if you're not careful. So I'm going super slow. That's why I think a battery drill is better than an electric drill. You can do if you're a bit worried about it. And if you've got a multiple torque setting, turn the setting right down to the lowest setting. If it's a hammer drill, turn it off with hammer mode, it will tear your arm off. You can see it's getting a bit curly now, the centre wire. So if I clamp it, pull it, so I've got a pair of cheap pliers here. You can straighten it out a bit. The whole point is this wire is meant to be bent, the inner wire is bendy. I'll show you what, you'll see why in a second. You need about, of the thin wire, don't cut yourself too short, I'm only doing this as a demonstration, but of the thin wire you need about 5 times more thin wire than you've got thick wire, between 5 and 10 times more. So I'll leave it there. Don't actually need this bit because I've obviously finished the build already. So there you go. And what I do is I snip it off either end. Like so. And then you can bend it however you wish. Yeah? That's it, simple as that. And then it looks like the finished article, which will obviously be next on this because this fills in a gap where a bit was lost. Yeah, enjoy. It turns out to be a really good build. Future me is telling past me, or telling past you. Thank you. Right then, so what do we think to that then, folks? So I've got those copper wires on. I'm going to the front one. I know the engine's there, and this is my car, so I'm doing it. All right. It's a very Fifth Element look about it. I've got some lights at the top here, and they cover where I end up drilling right through. Silly. Drilled out the headlights, added a couple of machine guns. That's how it's going to look from the front. Then I added that piece onto the back. I cut it about a bit more. It's straight, it's just, yeah. It's straight, okay. It's fine. Other things to do, obviously. I thought I'd just pop back after I've done the copper wire. I used pretty much all of that. I've got a few short bits left, which I'll keep for other stuff. So I want to add a little bit of detail in these wheel wells. They're a bit lacking in detail. I'll put the glass back in just to see how everything looks as a completed car. It looks pretty good. Yeah, so I just got to put some details in the wheel wells. When I do something out here as well, it's just a bit lacking, but I don't know what to do with it yet. I've got loads of bits out of my bits boxes. Got like a radar dome thing and Games Workshop bits that I've cut up. These might look quite cool in there. I don't know. It's very, very late now. It's like midnight now, so I'm going to go to bed. And when I come back, it'll be the next day. No, that'd be awful. It'll be tomorrow, so every morning we'll have a clear idea of what I'm going to do or what bits I'm going to use. So yeah, it's looking decent so far. So I'll see how it looks when I've added some more bits tomorrow, and then be on to paint. Okay, and this is where we're at. So I've mounted the rod to the base of the car so I can fix it to a base, and then I'll show you that bit once everything's painted, because it'll muck it up otherwise. I'm going to use some cotton wool as smoke, make it look like it's just taken off, hence the thrusters are facing downwards. I've added, since the last time, I've coiled some more wire, really super tight, added it to the wheel arches. I got all my bits and bobs out. I was looking for some greeblies and stuff, but nothing really worked or fitted, and I thought, I've got the hoses already on there, I'd add a few more, makes sense. Add a little bit on the front, like a little nose cone, Games Workshop stuff, and it's ready for paint. So I'm going to prime it. This is going to be different from my other builds though, because I'm going to be painting this one, and this Electric Monza Blue by High Coat. I use a lot of High Coat paint. Oh, balls! Use a lot of High Coat paint on my cars and stuff. Especially my normal customs, not my Gaslands stuff. I want to paint this a bit more like a normal custom. I may weather it slightly. There'll be no rust or anything like that, because it's not that sort of thing. Car still separates, obviously. I need it to separate still. I've just drilled those into the backpacks and glued them on. And that's how I've fixed the rod to the bottom. So I'll spray it as two separate halves in primer, like a grey primer. And then I'll spray the electric blue over the top. And then we'll come back once the electric blue is dried, which will be later on today at some point. It's nice and hot and sunny out at the moment as well, so it should dry pretty well. There's not much wind, so it can stay outside to dry. And then we'll talk about details, what colours I'm going to do, the hoses, etc. You can have a little look on the internet. I'll bang some ideas up here. Sid Mead, obviously, is the person you want to look at for art, for this sort of style of stuff. There's plenty of decent artists out there as well, and especially in the sort of steampunk, diesel punk, atom punk, anything with punk after it really. It's all good. So yeah, so that's the look I'm going for, more of a Fifth Element look to this, slash Blade Runner-y look. But I wanted a bright colour, and that Electric Monza Blue is a properly bright colour, so it should look really, really good. It was going to be black, but I paint everything bloody black, so let's have a change for once. So, cool. You'll see me next, or I'll be speaking to you in a second for you, but once the blue paint's dry, which will be a couple of hours for me. Cool. Alright then, so we're back. And this is the colour scheme I've come up with. That Electric Monza Blue, and I've got a black pearl on the bottom half. You can see some of the pearl in there. So thoughts on this are gunmetal for the guns. I'm gonna leave this blue. Leave the light brackets blue, I think, as well. Just add some lenses on the top. Gunmetal for the thrusters. And then hoses. I was thinking a copper colour, but I'm not sure. Gold will be a bit punchy. I'll have a think about it. But yeah, that's the scheme I come up with. But gunmetal for the guns for certain. Gunmetal for the thrusters. These thrusters as well. leave these bits black. I'm not sure, I may paint the whole thing gunmetal. I'll try one and see. I do like the gloss black though, it does look pretty cool. Nah, sod it. Paint the thruster parts themselves gunmetal, and I think I'll leave the rest gloss black as if it looks. This is the thing, right? So if you look at a car, like a modern car, Hot Wheels is a bad example, but there we go. So it's Ford GT modern car, right? So this is a Hot Wheels. Everything is one colour. Yeah, if it's two-tone, everything below a certain point is that colour. Yeah, and nowadays as well, the wheels either all match or match each other. So if these are red, it look a bit gash, but apart from that, does that make sense? So with this, because I've used the dividing line to separate the colours, which is what I wanted to do, because I think all blue would be too much and adds effect. I think I'm going to leave these black, because if this was a mass-produced thing on a production line, and they built it, and it's stylish looking, that's the whole point. I think this would be the same colour, but then these parts wouldn't be, and the hoses need to all be a uniform colour. As blue, they look pretty cool, but they're not going to stay blue. I think black would look a bit rubbish as well, because I've got a couple of copper colours, so I could go copper. I'll have a think about it. I'm going to do the gunmetal first anyway. I'm going to separate the two halves again and paint them separate halves because they're a bit easier. This rod here is going to go white. This is obviously, like I said, showed you before, it's part of the base. It's part of the base of the car now. Then obviously this is going to be about that high off the tabletop. It's going to use one of these round pill bases that I got from Warlord Games for bolt action, just because they're the right size. I don't need a lot of weight on them. And the good thing about this is obviously because it's a plastic body metal base, the weight's down quite low. If I find it's going to start tipping, because I'm going to add like a big smoke cloud underneath, I can run another wire out the base up at an angle to keep it from tipping. So I did with my DeLorean anyway, the DeLorean builder built. I'll add a picture in here, right here. I keep on doing that so I remember when I'm editing this together to add a picture in. If I don't, then hey, I'm an idiot. Yeah, so that came out really, really good. Loving it in this colour. This is just grey primer, 2 coats of blue, 2 coats of black on the 2 separate halves. No lacquer or anything yet, or clear. I will add a clear because the plastic can probably chip a little bit. If I knock it over, I don't really want to knock it over and chip it. I'm going to paint in the rear lights. I thought, do you know what? I thought about it and I thought, like, if you're going to get something this sleek, would you not have the lights like hidden below covers? So they might actually just stay as covers as I've took the headlights out. Then I'd put obviously lights here. So I can't decide. I'm in a bit of a quandary about it. But yeah, so I'm going to paint the gunmetal details first, and then I'm going to work out what colour. I'm going to paint in the hair as well. What colour I'm going to do these hoses. I haven't decided. I may ask my partner Emma. She might be able to give me an idea. She's pretty good with colours and stuff. I like my rusty stuff, obviously. But yeah. Okay, cool. We'll go into time lapse now, and then I'll come back once I've done all that. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Here's where we're at. So not much changed since, well, the only thing I've done since the time lapse is I've panel lined in a Citadel dark blue glaze. It's called Gilliman Blue Glaze. It doesn't come in these bottles. I've put all my stuff into these bottles because I've got like a Vallejo paint rack style thing from TT Combat here in the UK. I've painted all the engines, like the jet engines underneath, or the hover engines underneath, in like gunmetal, and all the hoses are in a silver. Gunmetal, 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 gunmetal. Like I say, I've edged the panels in like a dark blue. I was going to go black, but I quite like the dark blue. It's a bit subtle. It looks cool. It does look a bit like Biro though, which is a little bit annoying, but hey, it's what it is. Next thing to do, this is going to make it look at not more weather. The base is pretty much done. It just needs a wash, like a black wash on the engines. Same as these pipes need a very close up non-oil wash, which I'll do next. Down yet these bits. Obviously here I need the headlight details, but I'm going to leave the light details. I'm going to leave that till last. It's a dry brush next. Now I want to try and get some highlights on this. In this light here, obviously, it's reflecting everything. It's super, super reflective, this surface. I'm going to dull it down a little bit, but then when I clear it, I'll do a gloss clear on it, which will take an absolute age to dry, but I think it will really add to it. So you've got reflection on there. I want to lose some of that reflection, but I also want to add artificial highlights. So I'm going to do a super, super light dry brush in a couple of colours. I've got an electric blue, which is the next tone I've got up from this. And then I've got something called skink blue, which is like almost a greeny blue. It's that light. That would be a super, super light dry brush. I'm going to start, when I dry brush, I'm going to dry brush from the top down, so only one way. Do both ways, it starts looking really, really messy. So I'm going to use a real small dry brush, tiny amount of paint. I'm going to go around and do 2 layers of dry brush. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do any touching up that needs to be. So I'm going to probably hit this silver at some point when I'm doing that. That's why I'm going to not do the oil, like the non-oil black wash on these pipes yet, because if I have to touch them up, it'll start throwing it out. So I'll do a really super light dry brush, like I just said, on all the top surfaces with the electric blue. Then I use the skink blue. I've got another blue, like Baragoth blue, but I use the skink blue. It's a dry brush paint as well, so it's handy. And obviously the only other blue I've got is this crystal blue, which is I've got darker blues, but it's so close to this colour. There's really no point dry brushing it. So there will be a bit of this will show up, that's for sure, but that's the whole point. I want to give it a bit. Nothing stays shiny for long. I don't want this to look like a brand new vehicle. I want it to look well looked after, so I want it to look clean. But yeah. And obviously I'll do my standard weathering powders and stuff afterwards, just to give it a quick once over, because I always do, because it always looks a bit better. Same as I give the engine a once over with like a soot or an oil powder. And that's it really. So we can crack on with time lapse of me doing the dry brushing, hopefully not mucking it up. Also as well, another thing I'll be doing is I'll be sorting this out for the base. So this is I can't remember the diameter of this rod, but I've got some brass tube that this fits in, so I'm going to make a little on the base. I'm going to make a little point to mount this, so it can be taken off. Obviously the rod itself is attached to the bottom of the car, which is by design. I wanted that to be a sturdy fit. I'm going to make the brass tube slightly higher, so it keeps this nice and steady, and then that way if I ever do sell this on, it can be taken apart for shipping and not cause too much damage. That's the way I did my DeLorean. I made the DeLorean removable from the base of the car so you could angle it. The angle I've got on this is raked slightly forward on purpose. I want it to look like it's taking off. So when I do the base, which is just give me a simple pill base about this big, I showed it right at the start. I'm just going to paint the upper surface of the base white and the lip black, and this rod and the system I designed on the bottom white as well. And I'm going to use cotton wool to simulate smoke, so you won't see anything, you won't even see the base really, and that's the whole point. And then that way when I place it on my table and we take pictures of it and I use it in games, etc., then it looks like it's just taken off, and that's the whole aim. Yeah, that's what we'll be doing next. On to time lapse. Alright then, so a little bit of a change of plan. I was doing that, so it was too shiny. I wanted it to look a bit more dirty. So I did the black wash over everything and wiped it out off the main surfaces, left it in the creases. So got some highs and some lows there. A little bit murky and dirty. Repainted the silver back in. Also I darkened down these boosters underneath which come out nice. Next thing to do, I'll do it off camera, I won't bore you all with it. So I'm just going to run the black wash again once this silver's dried over the hoses and the metal parts, and that's pretty much us done. Thinking about it, I'm going to matte clear coat this, and I know that's annoying because the base is pearl, like a pearl colour, but yeah, I'm going to do the lights off camera, the little yellow bits, matte clear it. I was going to do tail lights, but I like them covered up, like as if they're under covers, so I'm going to leave them under covers. Yeah, matte clear it, and then we'll come back once that's done. I've got some like Warhammer little stencils, like stickers, sorry, decals with numbers and stuff on. I don't know if this needs like a couple of like serial numbers somewhere, like maybe down here in that gap, just to add to it, just to make it look a bit different. But it's coming out nice. I wasn't going to weather it. I was going to keep this really, really shiny, but I think, yeah, my thing is like worn and weathered. I really like it like this, so this is how it's going to stay. So I'm going to let this dry. Do another quick black wash over the hose, like I said, and then we'll come back once the clear's on, the matte clear's on, and it's ready to go. I'll do the base off. Well, yeah, I'll do the base off screen. It'll be easier to explain afterwards anyway. All right then. Right then, folks. Here we are. Someone's sawing outside somewhere with what sounds like the bluntest saw in the world. Probably trying to use like a bread knife or something to cut a bit of wood. So that keeps on happening in the background, and I can't stop it. So if you hear like a weird like hurt noise, it's that. It's not a cat being sick. It's someone with a really blunt saw. So this build's finished. Bosh. Well, that's incredibly at the wrong angle. Yay. Yeah. Done, dusted, finished, completed. Let's get the turntable out. I'll have a quick look at the turntable. Rattly because it says drawer. Get out of the way. There we go. So much crap in here. Alright, let's have a quick talk about it. Yeah. Came out awesome. I've matte cleared it, which I said I wasn't going to really do. I wasn't sure. Also went real heavy with the oil, with the non-oil wash over the blue wash as well. Got some grime and grease in places. Yeah, awesome. It's on a Warlord Games. Well, it's not actually, it's stuck on this. It's on a Warlord Games base, like a pill base. Cotton wool makes up the smoke, like I always do with my flyers. Teased it out a bit. Yeah, it's angled so it's like it's just taking off or peeling off at one angle. Came out exceptional. I know I seem to be really doing good on these builds at the moment. I've hardly, I said before in the previous video, I have like a box full of cars, failed projects. Things just seem to be rolling well together at the moment. So, and like I said, I think I said in the start of this video, I've got 3 or 4 videos on the go at once at the moment. Just trying to make the most out of the time I've got. Obviously, I've spent time with my family as well, so I'm filming when my baby's asleep or like in between late at night, early hours of the morning when I'm not sleeping. I'll be going back to work in June, so that's the latest news I've got. So videos will drop off, so I'm trying to put a few videos in the bank so I can keep on putting out at least 1 a week, possibly 2 a week as I build stuff. This is my main hobby at the moment. Then I should be able to still get 2 videos that week at least. But yeah, the flyer came out great. Don't know what rules I'd use for it in game, but all are cool. It looks damn good. Super happy with it. And I say it's about everything. I seem to be, every time I build something new, I seem to get a model I like better than the previous one. But yeah, it's so different from all my other cars. That's why I think I like it the most. It is all bits box stuff. Majority is like Games Workshop products. 3D printed lights on the roof by KM Steel Designs, and the machine guns at the front are by Dice Mechanic Games. Everything else is either scratch built like the hoses like you saw, or bits box bashed like the other bits. So yeah, let's take it off this turntable because I'm going dizzy. That stuff is so sticky. Oh, let's move that back. So yeah, cracking. Like I said, it doesn't really fit in with anything else, but if I run it on the table with my other sort of weird vehicles, where's my other one? Oh, I can't find it. There we go. It's like a weird like a strange looking vehicles team. Runs pretty well. Just the two of them, the Red Rocket and the Flyer. I'm gonna call it. I've been throwing names about in my head. I've got a name for it. Minnericht, Minnericht. It's a character in a book. I don't think that's how I pronounce it. It's a character in a book, a steampunk book, written by Sherry Priest, and I think it fits it. The geezer's an inventor in the book. So yeah, that's the name I'm going for the car. Like I say, it fits well with the Red Rocket. If you look at like different tech, Atom Punk, but it's very Fifth Element-y in the looks, which I really like. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you on the next one.